Marco Rubio gave a good speech recently regarding Western civilization dominance. Let's listen to what Marco Rubio has to say.
The alliance that we want is one that is not paralyzed into inaction by fear. Fear of climate change, fear of war, fear of technology. Instead, we want an alliance that boldly races into the future. And the only fear we have is the fear of the shame of not leaving our nations prouder, stronger, and wealthier for our children. An alliance ready to defend our people, to safeguard our interests, and to preserve the freedom of action that allows us to shape our own destiny. Not one that exists to operate a global welfare state and atone for the purported sins of past generations. An alliance that does not allow its power to be outsourced, constrained, or subordinated to systems beyond its control. One that does not depend on others for the critical necessities of its national life. And one that does not maintain the polite pretense that our way of life is just one among many and that asks for permission before it acts. And above all, an alliance based on the recognition that we, the West, have inherited together.
Dude, you notice how presidential this guy sounds right now? I mean, this is different from Trump, right? This is what I was getting back to. These guys are they're talking in this political like way. He's talking in a strong tone. He sounds like we are going to dominate. We are going to innovate. He sounds like a motivating president.
Is something that is unique and distinctive and irreplaceable, because this, after all, is the very foundation of the transatlantic bond. Acting together in this way, we will not just help recover a sane foreign policy. It will restore to us a clear sense of ourselves. It will restore a place in the world. And in so doing, it will rebuke and deter the forces of civilizational erasure that today menace both America and Europe alike. So in a time of headlines heralding the end of the transatlantic era, let it be known and clear to all that this is...
Dude, this guy wants to take over South America so bad. Dude, he wants to conquer South America. And I'm not going to lie to you, I'm all for it. I won't lie. I'm all for it, dude. We got to conquer South America. So we got to grow out of this debt. And, you know...
neither our goal nor our wish. Because for us Americans, our home may be in the Western Hemisphere, but we will always be a child of Europe.
Yeah, man. I mean, I like what he has to say here. I mean, he's very intelligent. He's very well spoken. I think that he's a smart individual. I think Marco Rubio has a real shot at 2028. I really do. I think Marco Rubio could win the presidency in 2028 if he decides to make a campaign, make a run. I think he has a real shot at winning over Vance. I think people are starting to like him more than Vance. I think people liked Vance at first when it comes to Vance and his personality and, you know, the kid from Ohio, his background. He was kind of an underdog. Nobody really knew much about Vance and they didn't like Vance, or nobody knew about Vance. But then Vance gets picked up by Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel gives him a job. Then, it was $1 million a year salary. Pretty nice. And then from then on gets a job as a sitting member of Congress. Not even, I think it was a year or 2 years serving as part of the Senate, where he then gets picked to be the vice president of the United States of America by Trump. And that's like a big thing with Nick Fuentes right now, going around like on the Instagram reels and the clips saying like, why did JD Vance get picked to be the vice president with such lack of experience? Like, how was he wasn't qualified, so why is this guy chosen to be the vice president? Because when you choose the vice president, depending on how much people like them, that person's geared up to be the next president of the United States. Usually that's like the hand of the king, right? Who's going to take the throne after the main guy leaves. And people thought that was JD Vance for a while, but after Marco Rubio and the way he has talked and the way he has conversed, especially at this Munich conference, dude, he's pretty good. He's done a really good job. And I think that he has a real legitimate shot at becoming the president in 2028. And the only way we're going to get out of this debt, the only way from what I've seen, we have to grow as a nation and we have to grow out of this debt. But we have a lot of problems in this country, even at home, that I think that cutting the fraud, cutting the waste, cutting all of that shit has been good. I think there's a lot of it left in the United States with California. Nick Shirley just did a video on it when it comes to California's fraud and the homeless problem there. Benny Johnson did a great video on that as well. But we still continue to see the fraud in states such as New York, Illinois, California, and many others. Primarily democratically run states, with the fraud and the waste that's happening in our major American cities. It's great that we want to go conquer South America. We want to buy Greenland and take over Greenland and take over South America. And a lot of foreign entities don't want that to happen because they don't want the United States to grow out of our debt. Okay, we could grow out of this debt. We could typically, look, Mexico hasn't done us any favors Okay, they're completely ran by the cartels, and they killed 15 to 20 politicians last year. Like, it's not a legitimate government that's being run in Mexico. It's a problem over there. And in Canada, they're completely sold out with Justin Trudeau and the way he's ran that country for the last 10 years. That's a complete dumpster fire and a complete shit show when it comes to Canada as well. And Canada is infecting and poisoning our country. And the same with Mexico, with the border being wide open for the last 4 years, the illegal migrants pouring into our country, as well as drugs, and as well as young children being abducted, which is a huge issue. You know, we need to focus on our endeavors here, obviously, but we need to find a way to simultaneously crack down on the corruption and the fraud that's happening in our major American cities and continue to grow and expand and acquire new pieces of land, such as Venezuela. I'm all for take Venezuela, take Colombia, take all of South America. That's what Marco Rubio wants to do. And look, if he's able to do that, if he's able to get that done with his current role right now, you know, working under President Trump, I think he would do good things as the president. And I like that. I can clearly see that this is what this guy's going for. When you compare him to Vance, when I look at Vance, I'm like, okay, Vance, what would you campaign on? What are you running on? What do you want to do as the president? Because I saw him at a TPUS, and I like Vance. Don't get me wrong. I think Vance is awesome. I think he's a very likable guy. I think he's very cool. I think he's very well-spoken, very intelligent guy. But I look at him and I go, okay, well, what are you going to do? What are your policy? Like, what would you want to institute? And obviously, he's not in campaign mode. He's the vice president. He's doing what he can with the Jeffrey Epstein files. And now he's obviously attached to that too, and how poorly that was handled. And you know, when they got to get on at the debate stage, and Marco Rubio is a part of Trump's administration as well, so they'll both get questioned on that. But it's interesting. It's interesting because, so if you like that video, you can click here to watch the entire stream. Just click here on this box. And if you want to watch another short form video, you can just click right here on this link as well. And it'll take you to another short form video. Thanks.